it's Christmas night, and unfortunately I'm actually away at work, so that's why I'm doing a video on Christmas night. Otherwise I'd quite happily trade it in for being at home with my wife and daughter. I hope everyone that's at home has had a good family Christmas, and they've got some happy kids floating around. And for me, hubby Barndo got some gems. Woohoo! Right, from there I'm going to go over a bit of a war wrap-up. You'll notice I'm missing a Christmas tree because I chopped it down and waiting for Supercell to give me one right next to my other tree. Here's a little bit of a laugh I had today. You know, we can build eagle lasers, we can build big town halls, defences, all these kinds of things, but a builder can't move a tree stump. Hey, why don't we put in a system where we can spend gems or gold or elixir, you know, copious amounts of elixir. I'd pay 2 million elixir to move that tree stump just a little bit to the northeast. But, oh well. Tonight I'm going to be going over our war win. Where are we? 167. Sometimes I forget where we are numbers-wise. Versus stars and question marks. So were they stars, or was it a question whether they were stars? But 54 to 45. So pretty comprehensive win for a 20 versus 20. What was interesting was we had 5 Town Hall 10 bases, and of course Mascot on the bottom, so 6 if you include him, and they had the 7. We did get the 3-star on their number 7, so their bottom guy. We had some good percentages along the way. I missed that 75%. I'll actually show that, just the map. So this is a pretty old base. I saw this base the first time when I had a crack at going for Titans. You do see it in war bases, but the problem is it's very susceptible to a queen walk. And I did actually walk it with Clan Mascot back-end dragons, and only got a 70% 1-star, so it was kind of open for me. And the queen for Clan Mascot walked all the way down that side, inside there, down the side, got the hound, missed the queen because it was a bit too slow. But very close to getting the town hall, unfortunately didn't get it through. So with Barndo 80 I used the queen walk and then a go whiz for the midfield, but unfortunately my queen was a bitch and she shot into the walls there, which pretty much fucked my raid. So just 75%. It was nice at least to save the 2-star. That's what I've sort of mentioned before with walks. A queen walk and a ground contingent's always a safer 2-star protection. Wish I'd have used protection as a young bloke. But, yeah, with your air contingent, makes it a bit more random sometimes. You know, it's normally going to be a 1-star or a 3-star if you use an air contingent. So, for our bases, they got both our Town Hall 11s, so 52 and 60. It's interesting to see Dion. I hope he watches that. It was an interesting take on his base. But then they missed our Town Hall 10s. So, really, for defence-wise, we had 3 defences on 81B. That was 4 defences on Phoenix, so our top Town Hall 9, and then a couple on both Rhett and Shine, who only give away 1-star. So they did miss some 9s as well, and I think they even left Town Hall 8. So, yeah, I think there's no question marks needed. Very, very mixed clan. But we'll go through some of the attacks. I've got 5 attacks to show tonight. There's some pretty good attacks, and I'm also going to do, as usual, a bit of ad-lib regarding a couple of the guys' attacks. So I know we've got a few keen guys in here that have been watching their replays, so just to give some feedback for them both through this and to show other people a few tips and tricks. So I started with the wizard and the archer over there because what I wanted was that lab, the mine and elixir collector gone, and then I put the queen here with the intention of her walking left. So I've been trying to get into the habit a bit more lately of getting the queen on the playfield as early as possible in a raid to get your maximum time out of her walking as she takes time. What was good was the wizard walked far enough forward to start pulling out the clan castle. That was nice. He was only really had to kill those 2 buildings, and that was enough for him. So that started it, and then the queen goes further forward and gets the dragon out, which is pretty cool. And that split that CC up quite nicely. So you see, sorry, I'll pause it again, but you see another another earthquake. So I took for spells 1 poison, 4 earthquakes to open up that entire centre playfield. But you notice, obviously, I've got this earthquake in the middle, doing that 25% damage to all those core defences. It's, you know, if you've got half a spell left or 1 spell slot, then just consider that. So you see on the right hand side, I've got Clan Castle Giants. They're going to get chomped up by that single laser. 5 witches, a couple golems to back it all up, and a few wizzies floating around. So I did know that there was 2 giant bombs in here. We had a good open from the Menace. So good to have a town hall 8 that can push in and show some traps for us. Warden's ability nice and early. There's no real major necessity to pop it, other than just to give yourself an extra 4 seconds of everything staying alive. Now I did use 2 rages on the Queen, so that only left the 1 for midfield, but she needed it. You want to keep that, and as you sort of see, it's well and truly over. So it was a fairly low base, just a town hall 9 defences with the 2 single lasers. So you see those witches just going nuts. You can understand them having to nerf the skeleton hit points. I honestly haven't checked what they've gone to. They went from 25, I'm guessing 22 or 23. It's not a major difference, but it'll all work out through the percentages. So let's have a look at Barndo 82's attack on number 10. Where are we? So what I did with this attack was, it was a Stoned GoHog, and I've taken in the 4 earthquakes. All of their town hall 10s and 9s bar 1 of each used hounds in their CCs. Whilst that's good to have them in a few bases, for me, I don't think it's a good play strategy. It's too common, but they did have a lot of good bases, so they built to protect the draw, and then go from there. So you see I drop a few minions to do some hurting. Minion up the top just to kill that, because that's going to kill that elixir storage and gold storage. Now normally I personally wouldn't earthquake such a small section. You're only opening up, what do you got, about 40 to 50% of the base at most. But I was aware that both sets of G-bombs were on this side of the base. So I knew that by opening that, I'd have all the giant bombs. I'd have the king, the queen, the king eventually, but the queen as well. And it would be lights out from there pretty much. So I needed that golem to draw that cannon on the right hand side there, which it did. Took the fire, then started tanking. Get the wall breakers to open in. There was no splash on that golem at the point there, so you know there's no well, actually, sorry, there's the hound coming out now. So I've got the rage. That's just going to push everything along. Unfortunately, the king runs off to the right, and you do notice that's, you know, a level 21 is a good level for a support hero, but you do notice if that was a level 30 hero, he would have stayed up for much longer. Hound's dead, pups are all just about dead now. Still golems tanking. You see that first heal is overlapping the 3 golems, and then also the start of the hog. So it's a nice sort of heal to overlap, and I'm a little bit slower on the second heal. But there it is there. That gets a good majority of the hogs. After that second heal, there's only really 4 defences left. So, you know, I could afford to do it quite early. The queen took a lot of damage from that archer tower that was left unattended in the end, but there was no need to pop the ability. She still had a bit of room. So I didn't kill the king with my kill squad, but you see the queen comes and takes care of the old boy. And that's it. Where are we? Next attack I'm going to show is on there number 11, and this was from Joey. I'm actually going to show both his attacks this war. Joey's been with us for a while, but he doesn't war with a hero out, so he sits out every now and again. But what Joey's gone with is a PentaHound, so 5 hounds, 1 in the clan castle, 18 loons, and he's got a couple whizzies with his 2 heroes, 2 lightnings and an earthquake, a few hastes. Now, I'm going to show this because it's a good attack, but it could have had a few tweaks. Either way, it was their 3rd top Town Hall 10. I actually missed this base with Barndo 82. I did a different styled attack and stuff. So, with much smaller heroes, Joey's got the 3-star. We did have a bit of a chat and a bit of a talk about this attack, and that's why I'm sort of commenting what I saw was a little bit different than what's suggested. For me, the intention of the king was purely just to tank for the queen. So you didn't want the king entering inside the base because you didn't want to draw that hound. The power of this army versus this particular base is he's going to take away 2 air defences, and then the CC is not going to become involved at all, and the hounds are just going to tank the queen and they're going to die and the pups are going to kill the queen. But what he's done is he's raged his king to try to kill these 2 defences, so he's gotten a little bit greedy, and you see the mortar goes down. He doesn't kill the archer tower, and he's drawn that hound, and you didn't want the hound. You especially didn't want pups involved because hounds don't shoot air. So thing is, now he's got it. If he hadn't have worried about killing that mortar, then he would have killed possibly that Tesla or that cannon. The mortar just didn't matter. This was the second point. I did just miss it, but my suggestion to Joey was to put the lightnings to the top left-hand side of that air defense to be getting the splash damage on the other blower, because he was going to be using his hounds from the top. So you see, after the 2 lightnings and the earthquake, how much damage was on that. Now you can rewind this video and watch it if you like to see exactly where he's placed the spells. Level 6 lightnings, max earthquake donated. He would have been able to have killed the blower as well as splash damage onto... Sorry, killed the air defense and then splash damage onto the blower to kill both, and that would have greatly increased his air capacity. So either way, he started out now, and you see obviously just a bit of a spam down of the loons, but it works for not having them stack up on defences, which is okay. Probably not how I would have done it, but you know, like I said, he's taken away 3 stars versus a max town all 9, pretty high queen, pretty high king. It's quite a good base build, this one. The giant bombs were well placed for everything else. A fairly well bunkered queen away from the air defences, so you just see how strong a PentaHound attack used to be, and that was when they had hounds in the CCs as well. Now the hounds aren't drawn by air. You see it coming back as a very viable option. So really, Joey could have done this with level 10 heroes, just with the units. You just see just a swarm of pups are still alive. We'll speed it up. Now he did drop those 2 archers. He probably could have used those archers to draw the hound away to a corner, away from those buildings. That's probably the last suggestion. That would have been something you could keep in the back of your mind, but he had a shitload of pups left, and in the end it was a good attack, Joey. So I'll show now Dennis's attack on number 12. And Dennis has gone with, I think it was a Shattered GoHog. And he's gone in with the earthquakes in place of any poison, because obviously he knows it's a poison. He's watched the previous attack versus this base and seen exactly how to draw the clan castle, because it was quite a hard draw. But there's the hound, and you notice in his army group he's got a healer. He's going to do the old archer healer trick. So we all know it's 2 archers. Dennis learnt a few wars ago. I think we've probably, most of us, unless we've actually done it ourselves, would have no idea you need 2 archers to make a healer work. It works with single units, like one will work on a queen or it'll work on a witch. So he's gone in with the wizards early because he can drop them down with no fire from anything, get that heavy hit point building down. This is the only probably thing I saw with this attack was he's chosen to earthquake and only open up that first cell. So really I think he could have wall breaked and then earthquaked and gotten through much more of the base, but in the end he's walked away with 3 stars. So this is the beauty of the game of Clash of Clans, is that you see everybody's different opinions and different raid styles, and he's worked this in quite well. Fairly heavy on the hogs first there. He's got the 3 heals though, obviously not taking the poison, so he's got it to be able to go heavy on the hogs because there was no springs there, and then keep those hogs healed up. Now we know the double giant bombs are there, and he's done this very well where he's only tripped the single one because the hogs have obviously aggroed to the Tesla next. So what you see with this attack was it was just a good watch from the previous attack versus, which was a 99%, and the reason it was missed was because of that wizard, that mine up the top there, and he's done a stellar job. That's it. So he's popped the hound. In the end, he used 3 archers to tank the hound, and 3 will kill a hound in a complete raid. Just the 2 normally. Now we'll show Joey's attack on number 13 as well, because I think it was a good use of just about every fucking unit in the game. So he's gone in with a bit of a Bitsa army. And he's used the main part of it was, you know, like a kill squad, and then loons to finish the tail. So what's good about this is it's used a whole lot, so it's a whole lot of different things to think about, and I'll just point out a few things that I spotted. So the first thing you can see straight away is he sent this golem straight down the guts. The queen's there, draws the hound. I personally would have just drawn that CC. Likely chance it was going to be a hound. You could have used 1 wall breaker, probably just around there on those flags. It would have run through the middle. If there was any bombs there, trip him. If it was a Tesla, then you've only used, you know, a wall breaker, 2 unit space, and then possibly use one of those giants. So it's, to me, that's rating 101 for wars, for hard bases. You want to, if you can get a cheap draw on the clan castle, then do so. Good with the golem there, and excellent with that 1 loon. He's spotted that well. That gets the kill on that Tesla. For 1 loon, that's a great trade over. And this is what I was talking about now. So 1 golem's already been shut on, and yeah, you know, like that was quite a waste. Now this is just another little bit of a semantic. When I play the game, I think about what's the best use out of every single unit. Sometimes you have a few units extra just in case, like in my Town Hall 11 rating, I take a few hogs for a bit of variation. But a level 3 P.E.K.K.A is all you can make at Town Hall 9. You can actually take a Clan Castle one, which would be level 5. So you're looking at a 2-tier upgrade. If you've got level 4 golems, taking a Clan Castle golem, which is what Joey's chosen to do, you know, they look all purple and awesome, but it's only the 1-tier upgrade. So it's an extra 500 hit points, it's an extra 4 DPS, whereas I'll apologise, I'll pause for a second and get the stats. Oh, sorry, just had to go between my devices to get them. So you look at a level 3 P.E.K.K.A's got 300 DPS, 3,500 hit points. A max P.E.K.K.A is 380 DPS and 4,500 hit points. So you're talking about an extra 80 DPS and an extra 1,000 hit points. Compare that to the, you know, golem, which is just the 500 hit points and the 4 DPS difference. So to me, a logical, you know, assessment of that is I would take 3 golems and a Clan Castle P.E.K.K.A. It means you're going to utilise 5 slots. You're going to possibly lose those 5 slots, but he could have maybe taken a Clan Castle Giant, so he'd be taking a Giant upgraded as well instead of taking his own. So to me that makes sense, or even a Wizard with an Archer. So that's one of these things that I think about when I'm setting up for my raids, and I try to explain it to all my players. So also it makes your overall raid easier because it takes 1 unit off of your your bar down the bottom, so instead of having to scroll along it, which, shit, I don't enjoy doing that, it just means that you've got 3 golems on your bottom bar and then your clan castle, you know, so that just makes that a bit shorter and simplifies a raid, which makes a raid better overall. So we have a look. The poison's just hit the playfield. The pecker's going to move in and smack that queen upside the head, and he's still got his clan castle golem. He's still got a couple of golemites, I think, and the king. So he took that jump, which was a good idea, because you just don't know how well a wallbreaker's going to go through midfield. So he knows he's going to get rid of all of that gear in the midfield there. So the rage was good timed. It's helped the Wizzies and the queen take care of those pups. And you see he's actually taken a freeze as well, and then 3 hastes for his air contingent. So he hasn't used any of the freeze yet. The freeze is specifically for his air contingent, so that's good because it's given him a bit of wiggle room. So really, he could have been doing the air any time now. You do see a bit of a spam on the loons, much like his other raid, but it kind of works, you know. He's hasted a big group, so that's going to take away the effect that wizard tower is going to have, and he did at least save 2, which is going to become very useful at the end once those loons pad around and get up to that last wizard tower, because we all know wizard towers, especially max wizard towers, smash the shit out of loons. We'll zoom down here, all of that's just trash. Now he times this pretty well from memory. There you go, giant. That's the tank. Another giant. Probably could have smashed the Wizzies down there too, just in case. But you see all of those, that core group of loons he had, got smashed up by that one wizard tower. But he saved those 2 for the end, and that's it. So another good raid, Joey. That was a 6-star war for you. Got your elder. And yeah, so pretty good war for us. You know, we were 2 Town Hall 10 bases down. We've been looking at the values of Town Hall 11s and things like that. So obviously the Town Hall 11s are fairly weighted in comparison. I think Barndo 80 is weighted about 20% heavier than Shine. So Shine was the top Town Hall 10 for us in this war. Barndo 80 was weighted an extra 20% value on top of that. So starting gold, I think, was 108,000 for Barndo 80, and it was, I think, from memory, around 82 or 84,000 for Shine. So it's a huge difference. You're going to find that you're going to be getting these wars where they've got 2 or 3 Town Hall 10s more than you, and good attacking clans can take advantage of that. So it all comes down to how people mix up their clans and all of that kind of stuff. We're still running Town Hall 8s. A lot of people are running away from those. But, you know, if I've got guys that want to join in, they're decent, they're active, then they're going to get a spot in war. So a little bit longer than normal. I went through a few strats, a few ways of thinking. So as always, I hope I've helped. I hope everyone has had a good Christmas. And, yeah, clash on.